Thank you, Speaker. They're called critical for a reason. Critical minerals and rare earths are the gateway to a decarbonised future. They are crucial to the manufacture of products including electric cars, wind turbines, electric vehicle batteries and solar cells. However, China has built a near monopoly on this industry, producing more than 90% of rare earths and rare earth magnets. Currently, all G7 countries except Japan are heavily or exclusively reliant on China for these products. It's never good to put all your eggs in the one basket, and the supply of these critical minerals and products is already under threat. Last month, China restricted exports of rare earth minerals and the products that use them as part of the trade fight with Donald Trump. And as recently as 2 days ago, European car makers warned that they may have to halt production in the next couple of days due to a shortage of chips and semiconductors following a dispute with China over control of the Dutch chip maker Nexperia, which is owned by China's Wingtech Technology. So it is clearly critical, and pun intended, that we secure and diversify supply of these critical minerals and products. It is essential to the future security and prosperity of our nation and many of our allies. The recent critical minerals deal struck with our close allies America, Canada and Japan represents an exciting opportunity for Australia, if we get it right. But the experience of our gas export industry stands as a stark warning of just how wrong we can get it. So let's explore our experience of gas exports in Australia. Because as the saying goes, those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Currently, Australia is paying a higher price for our own gas than many countries importing it from us. In a cost of living crisis, this is putting unnecessary pressure on families and in many cases driving manufacturers to the wall. Here in Australia, we have an abundance of gas. Australia produces more than 6 times the amount of gas we need to supply our manufacturing industry, power stations, homes and businesses. We are the second largest exporter of LNG in the world, and 90% of our gas is used for export. Gas exports use 13 times more gas than Australia's entire manufacturing industry each year. Yet here in Australia, the Tomago smelter that supplies 40% of Australia's aluminium faces closure because of so-called gas shortage and sky-high prices in Australia. The so-called gas shortage in Australia comes on the back of consecutive federal governments putting Australia last instead of first. So while Australian manufacturing businesses face closure due to so-called energy shortages, both on the east and west coasts of Australia, governments continue to allow predominantly foreign-owned fossil fuel companies to export record amounts of LNG. Japan, for example, buys 43% of imported gas from Australia, and then for the last few years has on-sold more than this amount for profit. We do not have a gas shortage problem in Australia, we have a gas export problem. Thanks to the work of the Australia Institute, we know that over half of Australia's gas exports are given away for free without paying any royalties or petroleum resource rent tax. Since 2015, gas companies have exported nearly $132 billion worth of liquefied natural gas from Gladstone in Queensland. 6 out of 10 of these gas companies have paid zero company tax on these exports. In Australia, more tax is paid by both nurses and teachers than by gas companies. No wonder the ATO has labelled the gas industry as, quote, a systemic non-payer of tax. We cannot let the same thing happen to our critical minerals industry. Australian taxpayers will be investing billions into the creation of critical mineral mining and refining and processing in this country. As we embark on the next big resources opportunity, we must not repeat the poor policy decisions that have allowed multinational companies to profit off Australian gas with little return to the everyday Australian. Thank you.